Hello and welcome to the Flowery Folk podcast. Today's episode is a question that I have for you more than anything else. And it's really about what is your retail shop or your website saying about your business. Recently, I visited one of the local towns around me and I went for a walk down the street, which I hadn't done for a little while, but I was in desperate need for a sandwich. I was needing something to eat. So I was going for a walk down the street, and as I'm walking along trying to find a cafe or, a bakery, anything to grab a snack, I obviously was looking at different shops, trying to make a decision on which one I would walk into. And something really stood out was how these shops looked and the way that made me feel about the business before I even walked in, or actually made me not want to walk in quite a few cases. So that made me start thinking about what does the outside of our retail shop, or maybe the website that pops up that represents our business, what is it actually saying to possible clients about us? And I've got a few things that I thought would be important to think about if you have a retail shop, or obviously an online shop as well. Something that really, really stood out for me was how they presented from the street. As I said, I was going to try and find somewhere to eat. And several of these little shops, one of them was actually a bakery chain store of a national brand. So I would have thought there'd be a few more standards around that. But anyway, the outside of the shops were disgusting. There was bird poop on the signage. The front of the shops were really grotty. And this is not a bad looking little town. It's a nice, neat little street. So, it felt very out of place. And I will admit there were several that looked like that. And as someone walking along wanting to make a purchase, I was not going in those shops to get food because I was sort of thinking, well, if it's this grotty and disgusting outside, what's it going to be like in the kitchen? And what sort of standards do they have with making their product? And do I want to stick that in my mouth? Probably not. So I ended up walking along and I went to a cafe that I had actually been to quite a few times previously, and sat down, ordered my lunch, but then proceeded to hear in the back the staff full on fighting and bickering with each other. And again, that made me think, did I just make the right decision here? Probably by about then it was a bit late because I'd already ordered. But it really made me feel a bit ick about the business. And I don't know if I want to go back as a repeat customer. So again, it all just poses that question about what are we saying to our customers, whether it's from the outside of our shop or the look of our website, or what's happening inside the shop if they've actually walked in. A few tips that I have jotted down to make sure that your clients don't, for a start, walk past your shop and go, I am not going in there, that looks terrible, or have some buyer's remorse after walking in and feel that maybe it's not the right place for them. So let's start with looking at the outside of your shop. What does it look like? What is the first thing a possible client or potential client is going to see when they stand out the front of your shop? Is it neat? Is it tidy? And that is everything. Things that you may not even consider are your problem. Is the footpath clean? Give it a sweep. Give it a clean if you can. Obviously, you got to be a bit careful if you wet the footpath, but try and do your best to keep that space as clean as possible. Is your signage neat? Yes, I know birds roost on things and they poop on stuff, but get out there once every couple of weeks and clean the shit off the sign. It's not such a big job, but it says a lot. Think about what your front window looks like if you're lucky enough to have one. Is it clean? We know that people walk past and stick their grotty little hands on windows. Children will walk past and lick it. It gets disgusting. Clean it. Keep it looking beautiful. Make an effort to ensure the outside of your shop looks as good as it possibly can. Keep it clean and check it regularly. I would even go so far as go across the street or wherever. What does it look like from a distance? Is your signage still, relevant and neat and hasn't faded too much? Just take a little bit of time to really see what that first look is like and what is it saying. Is it saying, I am a professional, I take care in my business, and I really have a great business and a great product? And I know that might sound a bit silly, but I feel that from the outside. If I don't think that the business is taking care from, just that first look, I maybe don't want to go in there. And that would be the same with your website as well. Is it functional? Like, does it work? Is it up to date? Does it look like it's been updated in the last 5 years? When you get on a website sometimes and it feels really clunky, it feels very old. Maybe it's time to freshen it up, make it look nice and neat and clean, make it relevant to what you're doing at the moment and the products that you're selling, have up-to-date pictures on it. Just give it a little bit of a zhuzh up and make it look fresh and professional and nice for your business. So if we've got a lovely facade outside, everything looks beautiful, we need to carry that through as they come into the shop and, before we can close any sale. What is the feeling when they walk in? If it's chaotic, if it's, staff running around all over the place, if it is boxes of unpacked flowers in the corner and shelves overflowing and basically just shit everywhere, what is that saying? That's not making them feel very calm. It may not make the customer feel that, does this business have it together? Or is it just too crazy? Do I know if my product's actually going to get delivered if I ordered here? Because there's just stuff going on all over the place. Now, don't get me wrong, there are times in any beautiful store where things may get a little chaotic, but that needs to be the exception and not the norm. Really try and think about what is happening in your shop when someone walks in. And if it is a bit of a crazy, chaotic time, what can you do to sort of minimize that chaos in your shop? Because it says a lot to that potential customer. You want them to feel instantly that they are in the right place for you to do whatever it is that they need from your business. Also, when you're in store, as I mentioned, sitting in that cafe, listening to the staff out the back have a full-on Barney, I felt really uncomfortable and I didn't want to be there. So also think about how you as the business owner and your staff are interacting in there. What is the vibe? Is it friendly and is it happy? And is it a space that feels helpful and at the end of the day, professional? So think about what conversations are happening there. If you need to have difficult conversations, there's a time and a place for it. And maybe in the middle of the shop is not the place for it. So we need to consider that. We work with lots of different people and, from time to time things will come up. But we are also running a professional business and we want to keep it that way all the time. So just think about what we're saying to one another, because it does set a tone in your business. I would also say with that, the next step, what does everyone look like? I know this, keep banging on about visuals, but we make instant decisions on what we see. So if you have a potential client that walks in and maybe they're seeing a person behind the counter that's looking a little bit scruffy, maybe they're wearing clothes that are past their best, let's just say, and they're not dressed as what we would feel professional, so neat and tidy, nice uniform, or just nice professional clothing, it sends a bit of a signal. Again, another example, I walked into a shop many years ago and oh my God, what the owner was wearing, really daggy, ripped t-shirt and no shoes. We all get like that sometimes at home, but not in your business. What is that saying about you and your business? What sort of pride are you taking in this space, in this business, if you're not even going to the effort of putting on a clean t-shirt and a pair of shoes? Let's not even go into the workplace health and safety on that. But you know what I mean? It was saying something. So making sure that yourself, your staff, I'm not saying you have to look like you've stepped out of a salon or whatever, but just neat, tidy, clean, professional. Think about what you're wearing. Also consider when people walk into your shop, is it obvious what you do? Now, that might sort of seem like a bit of a strange question. It's like, yeah, I'm a florist shop. Obviously, I sell flowers. But is your florist shop actually demonstrating that to your customers? For instance, if they walk in, are they seeing beautiful floral displays? Are they seeing a selection of fresh flowers? Is it obvious that your shop has fresh flowers? Or is it just looking like a gift shop? Do you just have, masses of gift items, candles and vases and God knows what other crap we seem to buy and put in our florist shop? But does it just look like a gift shop? Is it obvious that it is a florist shop? Now, I'm actually speaking from experience here because when I had my florist shop at the start of my journey, I was like most other florist shop owners in that my product was stored appropriately in the cool room. And so it wasn't sort of very obvious that I had mountains of fresh flowers. And I used to get people walk into my shop and just think it was like any other gift shop in town and ask the question, oh, are you a florist? And I'm like, well, yeah. But it wasn't obvious to them. So that was a lesson learned the hard way. But yeah, I would say that make sure it's very obvious that your customers can see what it is you do. So if you sell fresh flowers, have some fresh flowers out. We want to be able to show our customers the product that we are selling. A small display of arrangements ready to go, or it could be a lovely selection of fresh flowers in vases. Whatever it is, make sure it's very clear to the customer that you do have fresh flowers in your shop. Lastly, you need to check in on this regularly because we are busy people. We are also in the mindset like we do something and we don't necessarily always see how things change over time. I think that's the best way to explain it. So take some time every now and then and just check in. Come up with a little checklist, follow it through, even have a staff member do it. You don't necessarily have to do it, but go and actually look at your retail space just like a potential customer will. And do it from out on the street, all the way in through the front door, up to the front counter. And take it all in. Ask yourself, is this what I'm seeing the best example of my business and of what we do? Take some time and just check in. making sure that you are showing the best possible side of your business to potential customers so that they want to come in and make a purchase with you. And as I mentioned before, it's not predominantly this is to do with your retail space or a space, where clients will visit you, but it can also translate over to your website and your online presence. So making sure that that is up to date. It's not cluttered with irrelevant crap that you don't do anymore. Make sure it looks neat, it looks professional, it's easy to navigate, easy to use. Just check in and make sure that your business is actually saying the right things to your potential clients. That's it, really. Thank you so much for listening today. If you have enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. Leave us a review. That's really great. Or subscribe. If you only listen occasionally, if you subscribe to our podcast, that really helps with us then popping up on the feed of other people who might be interested in what we're talking about. So yeah, please leave us a review. Please subscribe if you like listening to us. Also, if you've got any feedback, always love to hear from you. Pop on my Instagram and you can leave me a DM or send us an email. All our past episodes are available to check out on our website at thefloweryfolk.com. So if you want to hear more, pop over there. Otherwise, we are out on all the main streaming services. So check us out, hear some of the other episodes, and stay in touch. So thank you very much and enjoy your day.